Hey, welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to talk about how I sharpen my dressmaker shears and scissors. Are you someone who has experience with a mix of sewing but is looking to get into the bridal sewing niche? This channel is for you. Hit subscribe to become a part of the community. Now, for years, I have used this little machine right here, the Scissor Pro. I will link to it down below in the video description. But as you can see, it does both coarse and fine. The coarse is just going to be an additional step that you can do if you have more severely damaged the blade rather than just the normal wear and tear and dulling of the blade. One thing that this machine will not fix though is if you have dropped your shears and you have done what they called bent the twist. That is when you go to close your shears and now the blades strike one another and you cannot get the shears to freely close. That's a bigger problem, and that's not what this machine is for. So let's go ahead and get this out and check it out. It's got this little white plastic piece there with the little red triangle-ish shape. That is going to be an extra attachment that you use if you want that super sharp knife edge blade on your shears. It's got these little rubber suction cup feet that help absorb some of the vibration. It does come with this handy dandy little manual. And I think this is kind of interesting. It teaches you all about it. It also shows you kind of the anatomy of a pair of scissors. Yes, there are more parts than just the handle and the blade. So that's kind of interesting that they include that in there. They do have this extra section in here for the knife edge that you may want to put on your shears. Let's start out with just practicing cutting a little bit of silk. It's not working all that great with these shears. And look at these applique scissors. You can see that little nick that we have in the blade. And oh dear, here's a couple more. Let's remove this little attachment. Make sure you drop it clumsily, such as I did. And we're going to do 3 light, quick passes here. And can you see the little bit of a burr edge on there? Now we're going to run it through really fast. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, that helps to get that off. So then you're going to flip your shears over and you're going to do this again 3 more times. Just kind of steady pressure, bring it across a nice smooth stroke. There you go. And you can see that burr edge. There goes that fast one. Get that right off of there. Now I'm just using my Lily White sewing machine oil. Put a little on a paper towel and I'm going to wipe away the excess metal. Look at that. All the little bitty shavings that came off when we sharpened it. And now I'm going to test cut and make sure that things are cutting a little better. Yes, it's cutting super nice right there, even at that very little tip that gets worn out. Nice. Now I'm pulling it taut as I cut. As you know, that's a good opportunity for it to slip between the blades if it was still a little too dull, and it performed well. Now I'm doing my applique scissors, same process. Just going to drag it across that sharpener 3 times, 1 time real quick. Also, at the end of this video is when I'm going to get into doing the knife edge. These are a little harder to do it without hitting the other blade in awkward ways, as you can tell. So it may take a few tries. But the same process, 3 moderate speed with moderate amount of pressure, 1 last one real quick. And you can see now that little notch is gone. We still need to test it though. And watch how that silk just kind of nudges forward when I start to cut. That's not good. It could cut a little better than that. So I'm going to go back and do this again. And let's see if we can get it cutting a little bit better. If that notch was not completely gone, I would have had to back up and do the coarse and then the fine. But I'm just going to do repeat the 3 and the 1 on this fine sharpening blade first and see if that takes care of the problem. Let's polish off that excess. And it did nudge away this time. So that's much better. You also want to definitely close the blades even to clear away those burrs that form on the edge of the blade. Now here's these little bitty scissors of mine. I'm going to sharpen them, doing the same process. You can see the little burrs on there. And I didn't bore you with all the steps, but you get the point, the 3 and the 1, and that cut very nicely. Now here's one that I'm running across to really put a new fresh edge on the damaged edge. I'm running this one through the coarse sharpener. I'm just doing it with moderate pressure and moderate speed 4 times, and then I'm going to move on to the fine segment of the sharpener. And here we go. Same thing, 3 moderates, 1 quick. There you go. Do that for both blades. Polish it off. Watch that burr just cut away when I close it. And I'm going to wipe it off again with oil. When I'm done, I'm going to oil each of these, any of the scissors or shears. Make sure that the pivot is oiled. Again, I'm going to test all of them. Now I'm real quick going to show you how to get that super sharp knife edge on your shears. You just push that little attachment back down in there into the fine area of this sharpening machine and follow the same steps that you did before. You may want to take a couple more passes as you test it out. Now, FYI, knife edge shears are not for everyone. You may need it for certain applications. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of knife edge shears. I can be a little clumsy sometimes with my stuff, and if you go to pick them up the wrong way and you're in a hurry, you can actually cut your hand. Or let me say, I don't want to put that on you. I could actually cut my hand. So they kind of creep me out a little bit. So again, if I were working with a particularly fussy silk chiffon or charmeuse or something that just kept trying to nudge its way out of my shears, I would come over to the scissor sharpener and go ahead and put that really sharp knife edge on there for that one project, but I'm not a fan of them being that sharp on an everyday basis. One little idea I thought I would mention, the way I handle my shears is I just have a little tote, like, one of the little, I don't know what it is, maybe a 1/4 size, I don't know. And it says on there, dull or damaged shears. And so when I'm cutting and working throughout the day and I notice that my shears are dull, I just toss them there into that tote. And then when I kind of start running low on good sharp shears and they're starting to kind of accumulate in the tote, I just pull them all out and sharpen them all in one day and get it done that way. So I hope that helps you also to hear my process. Anyways, yeah, you guys leave me comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. I know what you're looking for. You've been sewing for years, but you want to get into full-time bridal sewing. But there's something missing. You're missing the backroom secrets, the industry tips and tricks. The tools, the sources, the techniques that give you the speed and the accuracy that the industry demands. You have found it.